The ancient Indian Hindu texts describe units of time ranging from microseconds to trillions of years. According to these ancient Indian texts, the creation and destruction of the universe is an ongoing cyclic process that repeats forever infinitely. In other words, universes are created and destroyed, and the process goes on and on. The process of creation, that is, Srishti of the universe, is personified in the form of Lord Brahma, the god of creation. The process of destruction, that is, Pralaya of the universe, is personified in the form of Lord Shiva, the god of destruction. The cycle of creation and destruction that goes on forever infinitely and hence is timeless and eternal is personified in the form of Lord Vishnu, the preserver, who is permanent and all pervasive. So Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva form the trinity of creation, maintenance and destruction. Hence they are called Trimurtis. So God here is personified into the three forms: generator, observer, destroyer. So universe in ancient Indian texts is not one single entity, but there are an infinite number of universes that are continuously created and destroyed. In other words, we lived in an universe that belongs to a multiverse. Our universe will ultimately die, but the multiverse lives on. Lord Vishnu is a personification of this multiverse. Then we have the units of measurements of time called Kala Vyavahara. Many of these smaller units are the ones which an individual can experience in his lifetime, like second, minute, month, year, etc. And there are other units of time that are beyond the age limit of an individual and can be experienced only across thousands of generations, that is, only by entire civilizations like the Yuga. And finally, there are time units that can be experienced only at the level of the lifetime of entire universe, like the Kalpa. The smallest unit of time in ancient Hindu texts is called Truti, whose value is 0.031 microseconds. This is the base unit upon which other units are built. According to some other texts which use an alternate system of time measurements, a Truti is 35.5 microseconds. If you need a modern analogy, think about how some parts of the world prefers miles and some parts of the world kilometers. This is similar except the name remains the same, Truti. In the Vedic texts, the smallest unit of time used is Paramanu, which is 26.3 microseconds. So even in ancient India, we had a different set of units of measurements similar to how we have SI, CGS, FPS systems today. Each of these systems have other smaller units of time like Kshana, that is 1.28 seconds, Lagu 1.6 minutes, Danda 24 minutes, etc. But all these units of time in ancient Hindu texts converge to the same measurement at the level of a Muhurta, which is 48 minutes of modern times. So a Muhurta has a value of 48 minutes in all ancient Hindu units of time. So 30 Muhurtas constitute an entire day called Ahoratri. While we have 24 hours in a day today, the ancient Indians had Muhurtas instead of hours, and each Muhurta lasted for 48 minutes of our times. Also note that in ancient India, the day started with sunrise, unlike the midnight system we have today. Yuga is a unit of time on the scale of thousands to millions of years. The ancient Hindu text Vishnu Purana has details about these yuga measurements. A Mahayuga is made up of 4 sub-yugas that are distributed in the ratio of 4:3:2:1. The smallest yuga in a Mahayuga is Kali Yuga, whose measurement is 432,000 solar years. Next comes Dwapara Yuga, which is 432,000 into 2 is equal to 864,000 years. Then comes Treta Yuga, which is 432,000 into 3 is equal to 1,296,000 years. And finally, we have the largest, that is the Satya Yuga, which is 432,000 into 4 is equal to 1,728,000 years. So in all, a Mahayuga is a period of 4.32 million years on earth. The next large unit of time after a Mahayuga in ancient Indian texts is called Manvantara. It is said at the beginning of a Manvantara, new life forms are created, and at the end of it, those life forms are destroyed. One Manvantara is said to be of a duration of 71 Mahayugas, which is 4.32 into 71 million years, which is 306.72 million years. So according to these texts, once the evolution of life starts on earth, all life forms will be destroyed after a period of around 300 million years. Interestingly, the earth's largest mass extinction event known to us, the Permian Triassic extinction event, is estimated to have occurred around 252 million years ago. It is said that during this period, nearly 90 to 96% of all species on earth then were killed. This was also the only mass extinction period of insects on earth. After each Manvantara, that is mass extinction of life forms, it is said that there exists a Sandhikala, a boundary period when the life on earth is still undergoing recovery and is said to last for the period of one Satya Yuga, that is 1.728 million years. According to the estimates of modern science, it is estimated that the recovery of life on earth after the Permian Triassic extinction event took around 10 million years. Just like we humans have a day on earth, Kalpa is defined as the day of the entire universe itself. The time period for one Kalpa is said to be equivalent to 14 Manvantaras and their Sandhikala. Also, it is said that there is one Sandhikala before the first Manvantara of a Kalpa, during which no life has evolved yet. So in all, we have 14 Manvantaras and 15 Sandhikalas in a Kalpa. So one Kalpa is equal to 14 into 306.72 million years plus 15 into 1.728 million years, which makes it one Kalpa is equal to 4.32 billion years. So one day at the universal scale is said to be 4.32 billion years. It is said that the process of creation of life exists during this entire day, and there is an equivalent universal night period during which no creation process takes place, which is another 4.32 billion years. In other words, a complete day on the universal scale is 8.64 billion years. It is interesting to note that according to modern scientific discoveries, the oldest life form found on earth is 4.28 billion years old. So according to the Kalpa calculation, life on earth will continue to exist for another 400 million years. Kalpa, a day at universal scale, is further extended with days and years similar on earth, so that a month at the universal scale is 30 Kalpas, that is 30 universal days, and a year at the universal scale is 12 such universal months. 100 such years at the universal scale are defined as the lifespan of the universe, which means a universe is said to end at the end of its 100 years of age. This is called a Mahakalpa. So the lifespan of an entire universe is 8.64 into 30 into 12 into 100 billion years, which comes to around 311 trillion years. Finally, the ancient Indian texts say that our universe is currently in the first day of its 51st year, And in this day of the universal scale, we are in the Kali Yuga of the 28th Mahayuga of the 7th Manvantara. The name of the universal day is Shvetavaraha Kalpa. The name of the Manvantara is Vaivaswata Manvantara. So, getting back to our calculations again, the age of the universe according to ancient Indian texts is 50 universal years plus 6 Manvantaras plus 7 Sandhikalas plus 28 Mahayugas. 50 universal years is equal to 8.64 into 30 into 12 into 50 billion years is equal to 155,520 billion years. 6 Manvantaras is equal to 6 into 306.72 million years is equal to 1840.32 million years. 7 Sandhikala is equal to 7 into 1.728 million years is equal to 12.096 million years. 28 Mahayugas is equal to 28 into 4.32 million years is equal to 120.96 million years. So the age of the universe as per ancient Hindu texts is 157.49 trillion years. Science now says that the age of Earth is 4.54 billion years, which Hindus already estimated this 5,000 years ago without any modern scientific tool, when the other part of the world was still thinking that the Earth is flat. Hindus not only rejected this but also went further, pushing every human limits by calculating time duration of universe. How ancient Hindus come up with these numbers, we don't have a clue. Maybe higher form of yoga, revelation or miracle, I don't know. So friends, that's it for today's episode. See you all in another fascinating episode. Till then, take care. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram.